Carlina Lominy with Her Campus CAU, and right now I'm interviewing Leesia McKeithen.
Maybe the night that my dreams might let me know all the stars are close, sure. All the stars are close, sure. All the stars are close. Maybe the night that my dreams might let me know all the stars are close, sure.
Hi, I'm Leesia McKeithen. I am a second-year Master's of Social Work student at Clark Atlanta University. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, but I've been in Atlanta for so long it makes me feel like it's home. And yeah, that's me.
Leesia currently serves as the SGA Graduate Vice President, and she's the founder of Pocket of Change. So, what is Pocket of Change?
So, Pocket of Change is an outlet to encourage and uplift millennials through life challenges, from financial stability to confidence building, and also just any other challenges a college student or millennial might experience throughout their lifetime.
Why did you create it? Like, did something just speak to you in that moment? Like, were you handling a situation where you felt like, hey, I should probably help someone else out who's feeling this way? Like, what was it?
I've always wanted to inspire, but I didn't necessarily know exactly how. So all my life I've been wondering, like, okay, how do I start to inspire people? And then actually somebody encouraged me, like, hey, you're a really good speaker. And I was just like, thanks. I'm thinking maybe I'll be a teacher. But I was like, I want to be a non-traditional teacher. Somebody who is constantly teaching someone how to do better or helping someone grow, but not necessarily like feeling like I'm in a structured environment where I have to learn. The best way that people learn are when they feel like they aren't. And so that was what inspired me to start Pocket of Change, but it wasn't called Pocket of Change at the time. It was just called Leesia Fulfilling Her Potential. And then I started thinking about, like, what does a pocket do? What is the capacity of change? And how can change be two things at one time? And that's how they kind of came together as Pocket of Change.
Okay, that was going to lead us to your next question, like, how did you formulate the name? So, basically, you just wanted to give people a chance to learn something without actually teaching, like, hey, this is what you do, this is what you do. You just wanted to give them free space to do that.
Exactly.
Okay. So, define your journey at CAU in a stamp or just one thing on Clark Atlanta's campus. What would you want to be known for?
Oh man, one thing? If I wanted to leave one thing, it would be I was authentically okay with sharing who I was regardless of how somebody might respond. Because when you first get to CAU, not everyone, but often, you're so bogged down with how the rest of the student body might view you that you are authentically yourself. And so then when you finally become yourself and people are like, oh, okay, it's okay to be you, it becomes a beautiful thing. So I think that that's one thing I would like to be known for or left people knowing about me, is that I was authentically being myself while encouraging them.
Okay, so I watch your Instagram lives on Thursdays. So, like, I see, like, this is kind of like a step. So, like, what's the next step for Pocket of Change?
Oh, it's so crazy because I was just talking to one of my friends and I was like, today I'm going to sit down and I'm going to try to figure out exactly if money wasn't an issue, where would I be? And it's crazy, but I think I want to kind of build an empire that is like life coaching, some dance therapy, music therapy, and has some opportunities to teach you lifestyle goals. So it's kind of like a talk show. Like, I want to be able to do some branding for different businesses. I want to be able to, like, dibble and dabble into lots of different things while also creating these avenues of change and growth for people. And so I won't say I want to be Oprah, but if you think about Oprah and you think about Tyra Banks, or you think about people who are setting standards for Black people, I want to kind of have that type of moniker for my business.
Okay, I like it. So, how does, like, social work, do you think social work kind of plays into Pocket of Change in any way?
Absolutely, I do. it wasn't intentional, though.
Okay.
It wasn't like, hey, okay, so I have to do Pocket of Change because I'm a social work major.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just feel like everything that you're passionate about can somehow be tied together. And it can be in the most non-traditional, unfiltered, unexpected ways. And so me helping people is the same thing that social workers do. The fact that I want to change people's lives is what social workers do on a constant basis. If I don't become a professional social worker and I change someone's life, I feel I was effective. So they go hand in hand, but they don't have to.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, so how has your journey with this new platform changed you as a person? Like, any growth you've seen with yourself? Like, any way you've spoken to somebody else, but you were actually speaking to yourself, if that makes sense?
Absolutely. Every time I post a video, I try to make sure that that's something that I'm following, because it's hard for you to stand on a platform, for you to say these things, and then you actually don't believe it. So even if you at the moment don't believe it, like there's moments where it's like hard. Like yesterday I posted a video about being yourself and being okay with who you are. Hello everyone, happy hump day, lover's day, Ash Wednesday, whatever you prefer. But today I just want to encourage you all to be you. Like, don't try to fit into a mold or a capacity of what you believe somebody should be. Like, just expand on who you are and be okay with who you are. So if you don't fit into that mode, don't think that, oh my gosh, you'll never be able to make it in the rest of your life. It's okay. Be you and be comfortable. Have a blessed day, y'all. If you don't truly believe that to be true, it's hard for you to share it and for you to encourage people, because it doesn't even sound authentic. Okay. It sounds like, hey, she's just trying to say something to convince me. No, I'm trying to say this because I'm working on it too. It's a hard battle for me too, but I know that it's possible. But I've seen that growth, first trying to believe in what I say, but also do what I say too. And then I am constantly trying to grow in the brand. Like, okay, reading, trying to, every time I'm having a conversation with people, subconsciously I'm thinking about a topic on how it can help them grow. They don't know, but I'm writing it down mentally and actually physically writing it down so that I can ultimately go back to that moment and say, remember when we talked about this and how you were in this place, but now you're in this place. I want to help you by doing this. So I feel like that's helped me grow. And then just being consistent. It's really taught me how to be consistent in other avenues. Like, I post a video every day. But that is also teaching me, okay, what else do I need to do every day so that I reach my goals?
That's another thing. How do you, like, manage, school, being, SGA, VP, and, like, doing all that and still, like, doing your platform, like, standing by Pocket of Change? That's something you've always wanted to do. And you also putting in work to become a social worker. It's like you're doing two things at once, but it's still a lot of work because they still contain a lot of energy. So, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you manage?
I think first I write a lot of things down.
Mm-hmm.
I care about everything equally, which sometimes is why people don't necessarily manage it, is because they care about one thing more than the other. And so they're catering too much time to one thing and not enough to the other. But I hold each thing to the same standard. My platform is just as important as my commitment to SGA and my commitment to my major and my internship and empowering and impacting people. So I make sure that they are all something that I care about so that one thing doesn't fall on the back burner. But then also, I don't beat myself up when I don't complete.
Okay.
I just say, okay, if I didn't complete it today, then that's an opportunity for me to use more time tomorrow. Instead of being like, I didn't do it today, that means I suck.
Yeah, I think that's what, like, a lot of people struggle with. Like, they give themselves a time frame, they don't make that time frame, they think it's like, oh, it's the worst thing in the world, but it's like, you have more time tomorrow because that's not what you plan to do, so you give yourself free time.
Exactly.
So you have some time to do this. Okay, so when did Pocket of Change become Pocket of Change? Like, when did you say, oh my God, this is Pocket of Change?
It's funny, I was in the car with my best friend. Not with. It feels like I was with her, but I was on FaceTime with her, and we were just talking, and I'm just like, I don't remember. It just kind of clicked. I was in traffic, and I was just talking about what my brand is. I didn't have a name, but I had the brand in my mind. And then I was just like, man, I feel like people will learn these different pockets of ideas. And then I was like, and I just want to change people's lives. And you see how, like, I just kind of took a moment, and I was like, oh, my gosh, that's a name. And I just wrote it down, and I was like, is that corny?
I think it's, like, really nice.
And then,
it makes sense.
And then I was like, okay, let's keep thinking about it. Like, what does it truly mean? And that's when I just was like, okay, I'm going to stick with it.
I like it.
Thank you.
How did you, put in spiritual advice with Pocket of Change? Like, because that's honestly, like, one of the reasons why I watch it, because I feel like as a college student, it's kind of hard to, like, stay true to your faith and understand who you are as a person while dealing with, like, a lot of things around campus or, like, a lot of people's new environment, so it's everything new. Like, how did you formulate that? Like, put that into your platform?
So, it's crazy because at first, Pocket of Change was just an outlet to encourage millennials, and that's it, right? Mm-hmm. And then, every time I was posting a video, I realized that I was going back to my faith. And I was subconsciously speaking about a higher power and how God had changed my life. Mm-hmm. But I never was saying God had changed my life. And so instead of, I kind of started to have this inner battle with myself. Like, why are you subconsciously talking about God, how God has impacted you? And start really saying that God has impacted you, and it's okay. Like, oftentimes people are like, yeah, my life is so great, but they don't truly say where it came from. And so I stopped shying away from where it came from and started to be like, okay, if people don't believe or don't think that it's a cool thing to be a believer, it's okay, because my main goal is for being a believer to be the new trend, instead of for it to be the negative stereotype or the bad thing. Because of course there are believers who create a negative connotation on what it is to be a believer. But I want to be the positive side of being a believer and how God is magnificent. And so it didn't start off as a faith-based motivational speaking platform. It just transformed into that as God started to transform me.
I like it. I understand that. Okay, so this is kind of corny, but if you could pick one song to just, like, be your theme song. So if you walk into a room and this song started playing, what song would it be?
In life or with Pocket of Change?
In life.
Oh, man, because I had, like, two different ones. Like, in life, I think I'm going to start with the Pocket of Change one, because that's the first one that comes to my mind. Okay. And it's going to be Break Every Chain. Like, every time I hear that song, it makes me think of my platform. Like, there is power in that one. That is like my anthem. That or like my testimony for Pocket of Change. Now, my personal life, I would probably say, like, I want to dance with somebody.
I love Whitney.
Like, I feel like that is like a...
Why does that, like, define you as a person? Like,
because I first love to surround myself with people, and I love to dance. That's my favorite thing to do. But then it's like an anthem. It's like an upbeat song that...
So if it's like a bad day you walk in, it's like an upbeat song.
It's like, it's not something that when people listen, they're going to be sad about, even though it's Whitney and she's passed on. Like, it's something like, that's the good side. Like, so it makes me feel good. That or anything SZA. Like, anything, like, she's just goals as far as, like, a musician. I really like her music, too. But I Want to Dance with Somebody is, like, a good song, too. If you just, like, I need to hear some old school, but not too old, there it goes.
So, what was your moment of saying, like, this is what I love, like, in Pocket of Change? So... Like, maybe, like, you inspired somebody specifically, like, somebody reached out or something like that. What was that moment that was, like, this is really, like, something I'm in love with doing and I want to continue to do?
Okay.
It doesn't have to be, like, exactly one, but it could be, like, a couple that kind of just...
So many times that's happened, but I think the first real moment was when I was walking in the caf. Like, I was about to walk into the cafeteria, and there was some girl and her friends... that I did not know. And they were like, hey, you're Pocket of Change. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And she's like, I watch your Instagram live videos. And I'm like, really? Like, you watch my videos? And so that was the moment that I was like, this is kind of crazy. Like, this is kind of cool. So, yeah, that was the moment that I was like, okay, even if no one says it verbally, I think this is my calling.
Okay. What has been, like, your proudest moment at CAU? Like, where you just felt like, this is just real and this is who I am? Like,
proudest moment? That's hard. Okay, so I won't say it was like an accomplishment, but it was a moment where something clicked in my brain and I stopped being second.
What do you mean? Like
mentally.
Okay.
So every day I used to be like, okay, I think I can do it, but I was okay with being like, nah, I'm not. Until finally something clicked and said, instead of you thinking of it, do it. And so when that clicked at CAU, it's clicked several times, but it's clicked at different moments. And when it's clicked, it's been like a restart, or like, thank God that you were able to let this click again. But yeah, it was like, you're not second. And even if you're second place physically, like, okay, like you didn't win the ultimate crown, or you didn't win the actual highest position, or whatever it might have been, you're not second as far as like your potential. Your potential could still be first. And so that, when I started to think about that, that's when I was like, okay, this is a moment for me to like keep going into my greatness, instead of thinking that second is an opportunity to just kind of chill.
Okay, I like it. This is just like a really great moment, because I honestly like will watch your videos, and it's just like, to me, it was kind of hard to put myself in a place to where I could say, oh, like, this is who I am, in a way, if that makes sense. Like, I was just like unconditionally trying to put myself in a position where I was happy to do what I wanted to do, and listen to anybody else say, oh, you can't do that, like, you won't be able to succeed that way. So I was just trying to like put myself in a place to where I was content. And it was like, at the right moment, Pocket of Change like kind of just came, and it was just like, oh my God, this is so cool. So it was just like really great to relate. So yeah. Okay, so if you can, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like 5 years from now.
I want to travel the world. So I see myself still traveling, but like somehow I have built my business to where I am traveling and speaking. Not just traveling just because that's the fun of it, but I'm traveling, I'm speaking to millennials just like you and I. I also have already completed my schooling, so I have got my LMSW, that's my license in social work, and I am practicing, but I'm also doing motivational speaking. So I'm dabbling in several things that I enjoy, but then I am enjoying life a little bit more because I've been in school for so long. So in 5 years, I hope to just be kind of living. Okay. And not trying to figure out what's going on. Even though that probably will be happening, I won't be stressed or worried about what's next. I'll be okay with what happens every day. Okay.
So you said traveling. Like, do you have any like top 5 places you want to travel?
Yes. Barcelona, Spain. Okay. Of course, France. I want to go to Africa. I want to go to Jamaica. You said top 5. That's really hard. I want to go to China again, but I want to just visit another part. I was in a small area, so when I go back to China, I want to go to, like, Shanghai, Beijing, and, like, be a sightseer.
That sounds exciting. Okay. So, what's the question? Okay. So, what made you choose social work specifically? Or was it, like, one of the things that you kind of fell into? Or?
Yep. I was a psychology major in undergrad, and psychology was something I chose, but social work is something that chose me. Okay. I wasn't going to attend the master's program here at CAU until I actually was just talking to some of my mentors, and they were like, hey, you should go back to school. And I'm like, I don't know, I might take a break and just work. You know, that's what some people do, and some people go straight into it. And I was like, I don't think I have the money. I won't be able to, but I didn't know, like, loans were different when you're in grad school and you're independent, that whole, like, life, that different lifestyle. And so then I was just like, okay. So I started talking to my sorority sister, and I was like, okay, she did the program, and I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. And then I got into the program, and then I never left, of course. But yeah, I definitely think that social work chose me. And so over time, I've just been learning different things about myself, about what I can do in social work and how I can grow.
So if you can just, like, give a message to somebody listening right now, say, like, you know, people follow your platform. So if you could just say anything to anybody right now who's listening, like, what would be what's the first thing that pop up to your head to tell them?
First thing I would say is take it slow. Like, you create the course for your success, not anybody else. Mm-hmm. Regardless of if that is, okay, in 5 years, I'm going to start my platform. It's okay. Don't feel like because everybody else around you might be doing it, that it's your time right now. And when you're taking it slow, don't take it so slow that you don't try. Like, slow is it steps in the right direction, but it's not saying, okay, just kind of chill. Mm-hmm. Slow. Every day that you're doing something. Every day you're thinking about how you can become better. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that would be my advice, is take it slow, and your slow is completely different from someone else's.
Yeah, okay. Well, this concludes our interview. This is Carlina Lominy and
Leesia McKeithen with Vocative Change.
This is a great interview, and I hope you guys tune in for our others. Thank you.
To break every chain, break every chain, break every